Hi and welcome to this video on building the UI for our ThumbFight app. Now as we are a little comfortable about constraint layout, we will be using that to build our UI. I'll also learn about how to localize our content for different locales. Now local is a specifier for language and country, like EN/US specifies English for United States and HI-IN specifies Hindi for India. So let's get started. So this is the UI that we are looking to build. We have the app name and the settings icon at the top. So this is not part of the layout file. So we will not be building it today. So this section that you're seeing in white is what is defined in the layout XML or activity underscore main.xml. So this, we have the player text view, which defines which player's turn it is to tap this text view, which tells how much time is left. And then we have the buttons for left and right thumbs. And then we also have the score for each of them. And then finally at the bottom, we have the start game button. So let us get back to our project. So let's close the layout inspector and remove these text views. So click in the constraint layout and right click and just delete the other one to delete. So now if I go to code, I can see that my layout is empty. Let's get back to design and go to common and drag two buttons here. One of them will be the left thumb button and the other one will be right thumb button. So as we saw earlier, as soon as we drag them, we will see the warnings that these are not constrained. Let us clear the search. So here you can see in the attributes, both of them are having this warning. So first, let us give them proper IDs. So this one is the button left and I'll give it the okay. Now I will give a okay. So let us make it light green, little darker. Okay, so go back and change the text to left. Now do the same for the right button. We will label it button right. So once you change the ID, press tab so that this rename dialog comes up and you can choose to refactor or preview. So this is shown because the ID might be used in code and some other XMLs. So what the studio will do is it will search for the references of button 2 everywhere and it will try to tell you that we need to rename those IDs in those XML or code files also. So currently, because these buttons are new, they won't be used anywhere. So we can do it easily. Let's change this color also to red. Okay, and change the text to right. What I'm going to do is I'll align the button to center vertically. And then, so I'll select both the buttons in the component tree by using control. So if I click on button left, then I hold on to control and then I click on button right. Now, because these have to be aligned at the same horizontal level, I will add a horizontal chain. So I'll create a horizontal chain and I'll do the same vertical alignment for the right button. Align top and bottom with the parent. So I can see now the left and right are aligned in a chain. So now if I select both the buttons again, I right click them and go to change horizontal chain style. So I can change the type of the chaining that they have. So this is spread inside. So you can see the chain style is spread inside. The other chain style is spread. This is the default one. And then we also have packed, in which the buttons will be packed together and space will be left on the other side. So what we are looking for is spread. Okay, we can see that all the text and the colors have been generated in the XML. So what I'll do is I will also extract out the string to the string XML. I'll just give a name. So that we have less warnings, and if you want to localize your app for the other languages, you can do it easily. Okay, so our left and right buttons are done. Now I will add one more button. Let's go back to design, click on button and put it here. So I'll align the top to left, but you can even do it to right button and the bottom of the button to bottom of the parent. And then I'll also align the start and the end to the parent so that it is somewhere here horizontally. And then because this is our start game button, I will change the ID to button start game, press tab, click refactor. So the ID has been changed. Now I leave the background color as is. I'll just change the text to start game. Yeah. So once again, what I can do is I can go here and extract out the text to strings.xml. Okay. So now if you want to see what is happening here, I know that all this text has been moved to string files now. So this is the default string file. It is not under any resource modifier. It will be in the values folder. Now suppose I want to define the start game for French. So I can add the locale. Now as locale is something which combines both your language and the country. Something like ENUS is for English United States and ENUK is for English United Kingdom. So I'm just going to define it for French. So let us find French here, French. And you can see where all countries support French as a language. I'll just go for French in France. So what I'm defining is a strings.xml. Okay, so what has happened is Studio has created one more strings.xml file for me. So this is the Android view. If I go to project view and I go to app, source, main, resource, I will see that now there are two values folder. One is the default values and one is values fr. So these are all the strings that I defined, and the strings in French is empty. So what I can do is, just to show you, I will translate this start game string for French. Okay, so let's format. So I've already copied the text for start game in French. I'll just make it caps and put it in double quotes. Okay, so I've defined the start game string in French. Now if I go back to my layout, you can see that currently the preview is meant for English, but now because we have added the French locale, it is also giving me the option to check the locale for French. So you can see here, if I choose French, it will show the string from the strings.xml file, which is under the French folder. Same way, if I want to see how this UI looks like in a bigger font such as Pixel 4, I can choose it here. I can also rotate my UI to landscape and see how the UI will come up. So let's go back to Pixel 2 and portrait. Go back to English and continue building the UI. So the buttons are done. Now we need to add the text views. So we have added these three buttons. Now we have this player text view, time left text view, and these two score buttons. Okay, so let's go back to design and just drag and drop the text views. So So this is the text view which will tell which player's turn it is. I will just rename it to player text view. Press tab and I will align the top to top of the parent, start to start, end to end, and bottom to the top of the left button, so that it is in between the buttons and the top of the parent. So we will leave the default text to dot dot to specify that the game has not started, and I'll change the appearance to display 3 so that it's a little big. Okay, now so this text view is done. Now we need to add this time left text view. So drag and drop one more text view, align the top to bottom of the player text view and the bottom to top of left text view. So this will tell us how much time is left. So I'll rename the ID to time left text view. Press tab, refactor. I'll also align the start and end so that it doesn't run away. And change the text to show red start game. And the appearance to display 1. So that this becomes a default UI. So whenever we launch the app at the beginning, player will show dash dash and we will have this instruction for the user to press on this start game button. Okay, so now we now have the score text views remaining. So as a challenge, you can try adding them yourself. You can pause the video here and you can try adding them yourself in the same way we added the left and right button by adding the horizontal chain. Okay, welcome back. If you have tried the challenge and if you have succeeded, very well done. Otherwise, you can follow the instructions. So drop the left score text view and the right score text view. So I'll change the ID to left score text view. Press tab, refactor, top to bottom of left, bottom to top of start game. Same thing for right score text view. Now let me select both of them and create a horizontal chain. The chain will be spread, so you will have space on the outside as well as inside. If you want, you can change the chain type. So let's just keep it to spread. Also change the appearance to body 1. Okay. I'll also put the default text as score 0. So now if we go back to code, we can see that all the text is ready, but we have those warnings which will tell us to extract these strings to strings.xml. So let's do it now. Extract string resource. So this will be the default here. This will be your press start game. So this will be your score text. So one thing I'm going to do is to add this %d here. So %d is known as the placeholder. This is to ensure that we can change the value of 0 at runtime. Whenever the player taps on the button, we have to update the number in this text. So if we hardcode it to 0, we will never be able to change it. So I'll just put a %d here. And using code, we will be able to replace this %d with the actual score of the user. So we have score text. We will use the same for the right score. Okay, now if I go back to design, yes. So our UI is ready. We have also learned a bit more about constraint layout as well as localizing the app. But before we go ahead and start coding, we need to cover some Kotlin basics, as some of you might not be comfortable with this language. So in the next 4 videos, we will be covering Kotlin basics, which will help you get a good understanding of the code that we are going to write for our ThumbFight app. See you there.